I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network. Donald Trump continues to make the most vile, deranged, desperate, weird, dangerous, whiny posts on his social media platform, and only amplified by the fact that he has been arraigned in Washington, D.C. in connection with his crimes relating to the 2020 election and the January 6th insurrection. I want to show you Donald Trump's incredibly desperate posts, but I also want to compare him to what was President Joe Biden saying at the exact same time. On the one hand, with Donald Trump, it's sociopathic, malignant, narcissistic traitor, and just the whining, the me, they're coming after me, and the grift. And then you'll see President Joe Biden talking about the CHIPS Act bringing semiconductor jobs to the United States. You'll see President Biden talking about manufacturing jobs. You'll see President Biden talking about healthcare. I just think it's so vital. And I took this advice from you to show this contrast. So let's get right into it. So here's what Donald Trump said shortly after his arraignment. He made a video on this as well that I covered in another video. But here's what he wrote. He goes, "Considering the fact that I had to fly to a filthy, dirty, falling apart, and very unsafe Washington, D.C. today, and that I was then arrested by my political opponent, who is losing badly to me in the polls, crooked Joe Biden, it was a very good day." And of course, that's simply not what took place. And by the way, when Donald Trump left office, D.C. was on lockdown because of the January 6th insurrection that he caused. We lived through what a Trump disgraceful, I don't even want to say what it was, his time disgracing the White House, what that was like, where you couldn't even get toilet paper, how dangerous it was then. And again, you wonder, okay, why were the MAGA Republicans holding all of these hearings where they were spreading these lies about Washington, D.C., where crime is actually down? Why were they holding all of these hearings just like defaming D.C.? Here's why. So that Donald Trump could use that as part of his attack against Special Counsel Jack Smith. And, it's Washington, D.C. that's out to get me. It's the judge is out to get me. Everyone with Donald Trump is out to get him, he says. And maybe it's the fact that your entire life you've committed crimes. Maybe it's the fact that you are a traitor. Maybe it's the fact that when your buddy is Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin, that tells us a lot about the traitor and crook and wannabe fascist that you are. But let's compare Trump's posts to what is President Joe Biden saying at the same time. President Biden, "The message I get time and time again from CEOs of Fortune 500 companies is that they'll invest if the federal government invests. That's why I signed the CHIPS and Science Act to supercharge our efforts to make semiconductors here in America." Do another Biden post, then we'll see what Trump's posting. Biden goes, "To lower the cost of automobiles, appliances, smartphones, and more, we need semiconductors, tiny computer chips that power almost everything in our lives. We invented these chips, and thanks to the CHIPS and Science Act, they'll be made in America again." Very tangible, specific, delivering for the people, not me. Why is everyone going after me? Oh, Jim Jordan and James Comer are being mean to me. Jim Jordan and James Comer keep calling fake whistleblowers deranged. He doesn't do that. He doesn't do that because he's normal. Donald Trump's next post, he goes, "Biden and his family steal millions and millions of dollars, including bribes from foreign countries, and I'm headed to D.C. to be arrested for protesting a crooked election. Unfair venue, unfair judge. We are a nation in decline. MAGA, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. It's always unfair. Unfair judge, unfair venue, unfair this, unfair that." The biggest whiny victim in the world is Donald Trump with these consistent posts. By the way, you talk about Biden stealing millions of dollars, including bribes. There hasn't been a single witness in these sham MAGA Republican committees that has said that. What, earlier this week you had Devin Archer, a former business partner of Hunter Biden, all the MAGA Republicans said, he's got the smoking gun, right? That was after the fake audio recordings that the MAGA Republicans said that Joe Biden's on audio recordings and those didn't exist, or fake whistleblowers who then the MAGA Republicans said, oh, they're missing. Oh, they're dead. Oh, they're fleeing the country because they are actually an unregistered foreign agent of the CCP and they are Libyan or Iranian arms dealers, or they're Russian oligarchs. But even the Russian oligarch disagreed with what the MAGA Republicans were saying, who they were trying to call a whistleblower. Or the MAGA Republicans call in these fake IRS whistleblowers, and then it takes the cross-examination of Democratic Congressmember Krishnamurthy. He goes, wait a minute. You're complaining about things that took place in April of 2020? Who was the president? Was Donald Trump the president? Oh, I don't know what you mean by that question. Can you rephrase? Who was the president? Well, there was a campaign. Who was the president? That's what went down. There's no, what there is evidence of is, you want to talk about bribes, you want to talk about what went down. How about the fact that the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund gave your son-in-law and daughter a $2 billion blank check? The Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund just gives them $2 billion. How about the fact that you had Chinese bank accounts, secret Chinese bank accounts? How about that you paid more money to China in taxes than you did to the United States of America? How about that Ivanka got trademarks expedited by China? How about that you've made money from China? And I mean, I could go on and on and on. There's evidence there. And Special Counsel Jack Smith made very clear in the indictment that this is not about a free speech issue. In fact, Special Counsel Jack Smith says in the indictment, you had every right to lie, even mislead the public, as shameful as that is. But when you engaged in a conspiracy to change votes, legal, valid votes from Biden to you, when you wanted to overturn the Electoral College, when you wanted to engage in affirmative conduct, that's not a free speech issue at all. Earlier in the day, Trump wrote, all caps, I am now going to Washington, D.C. to be arrested for having challenged a corrupt, rigged, and stolen election. It is a great honor because I am being arrested for you. Make America great again. Okay, then, of course, the grift right here, and then raising money, and it's a video of a wolf that, like an anamorph, becomes him. Like, how weird can you get right there? And then here's the next post by Donald Trump. He goes, I need one more indictment to ensure my election. I need one more indictment to ensure my election. Do you know how deranged of a thing that is to say? You know how disqualifying of a thing that is to say? The fact that MAGA Republicans go, yeah, this is the person we need to give our nuclear codes to. It is such a shameful thing what the modern day Republican Party has become. Oh, and by the way, here's the grift. He posts a fake mugshot of himself asking for contributions. And then here early in the morning, he just wrote like the number sign, hashtag number sign. Okay, what's President Biden posting? He goes, Bidenomics is about increasing competition, not stifling competition, because when companies have to compete, it means lower prices, fairer wages, and more innovation. Here's what President Biden's posting. Today, my administration announced the inaugural cohort of Cancer Moonshot Scholars, a program that will support emerging innovators from diverse backgrounds that will drive progress in the fight to end cancer as we know it. This fight is personal to me, and it's one we can win. And then Biden posts, I came to office determined to change the economic direction of this country, to move from trickle-down economics to what everyone from the Wall Street Journal to the Financial Times is calling Bidenomics. America now has the fastest growing GDP of any G7 nation and the lowest inflation of any G7 nation. And we see infrastructure projects going up every single day with resources that are made in America. So, folks, I think the contrast cannot be clearer. I want you to hear what Trump is saying, but I also want you to hear what President Joe Biden is saying and doing. And I want you to think about yourself, about your family, children, grandchildren. I want you to think about your neighbors. I want you to think about your community, people who you love, your spouse, partner. Think about it. How important this is, how important what's going on is, how important the role is that we all play here. And it's such an honor for me to do these videos with you and with this community every single day. And it's so important that we spread these pro-democracy messages and we get the truth out there with the data, with compassion, and with true support of our democracy. Thank you so much. Check out the new website, MeidasTouch.com. It's just went live. We're doing our soft opening this week. I think you'll love it. MeidasTouch.com. Check out Patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Wherever you get audio podcasts, subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast as well. Have a great day.
Hey, Meidas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.